Hello everyone. It looks like it's time for a story again. Today, I've decided that I'm going to tell you a story. This is one of our favorite stories, and somebody had asked me if I would tell this story again, so I will tell it. It's about three friends of mine. I used to live in the country, and they lived out back from where I lived. And their names were Squiggly, Wiggly, and Jonathan Thomas Henry. And my three friends were worms. Now, Squiggly and Wiggly, they were regular worms. But Jonathan Thomas Henry, he was a bit strange. He used to wear a fedora to school, and he wore a knapsack, and he just didn't do really worm things. He was a little strange. But I'd like to tell you that Squiggly, Wiggly, and Jonathan Thomas Henry were best of friends. They weren't always best of friends, because Jonathan Thomas Henry was the new worm at school. He went to school like all the other worms. He rode his worm bike down the street. He played in the water from the hose. He went to Worm Scouts. But he was a bit strange. Like I say, he wore a hat, a fedora. And most worms don't wear fedoras, but Jonathan Thomas Henry, he wore a fedora. Now, here's the story of how the three of them became great friends. One day, Squiggly was out playing. And Squiggly was playing down by the hose, where the water trickles out behind the yard. And he was having great fun. He was splashing in and out like worms tend to do. And his friend, Wiggly, came to join him. But little did they know, high above them, way up there, was a robin watching them. And the robin went around and around and around, just looking for the right time to get these juicy worms. But Squiggly and Wiggly were just playing away, having fun. Now, they saw the shadow, and the robin swooped down, and he grabbed Squiggly, and he took Squiggly and took him way up into a tree, high up in the tree. It was almost 5 feet up in the air, and he put him on a branch so we could eat him later. And then the robin flew off somewhere. Well, Squiggly was up in the tree, and he was scared. He was terrified. He was in tears. He knew he was going to die. He knew the robin was going to eat him. He knew it was all over. Well, Wiggly was very scared. He didn't know what to do. He ran to the tree. He ran back to the hose. He ran to the tree. He didn't know what to do. But he saw Jonathan Thomas Henry in the distance. And he ran to Jonathan Thomas Henry. And he said, Jonathan, 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 Jonathan. And Jonathan said, What? And Wiggly said, a robin came and took Squiggly and took him way up in the tree. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help him. Well, Jonathan Thomas Henry was a worm scout, and he was prepared. So he wiggled his way over to the tree, and he looked up, and it was way up there. That was 5 feet high. That's way up for a worm. But he knew exactly what to do. He started squeezing up between the branches, and he's squeezing up between the bark, and squeezing up, and finally he got up to that branch. And he goes, yes, I can save him. He says, Squiggly, come here. But Squiggly was terrified. Squiggly was holding on to the branch for dear life, and Squiggly wasn't going to move. Jonathan Thomas Henry had a problem. He had to get Squiggly down. And he knew he could climb down, but he couldn't get Squiggly to climb down. So Jonathan Thomas Henry said, Squiggly, you know what we should do? We can fly down. I know how to fly down. And Squiggly looked at him, and he goes, what? He said, well, come with me. So Jonathan Thomas Henry went to the end of the branch, and there at the end of the branch was a nice leaf. It was a nice green leaf. And Jonathan Thomas Henry climbed right on the green leaf. He said, come on. And Squiggly went down there, and he got to the branch, and they both climbed on the branch. And Squiggly says, I don't see how we're going to fly down. I just see the robin's going to come and eat both of us. We're in big trouble. No, Jonathan said, no. We're going to cut this branch. So he took off his wormy knapsack, and out of his wormy knapsack, he got out his worm scout knife, and he cut off the edge of the leaf. And just as the leaf was about to break, he put his knife back in his knapsack, and he put his knapsack back on his shoulders. Worms don't have shoulders. It was very strange. And he broke the last of it. And the leaf started to fall from the tree, and it went and Squiggly and Jonathan Thomas Henry floated gently down to the ground. Well, almost to the ground. They were about 6 inches from the ground when a gust of wind caught the leaf on it, whoop, and the leaf flipped over, and Jonathan Thomas Henry and Squiggly both fell to the ground. Well, Squiggly was so surprised he was still alive. And Jonathan Thomas Henry just burst out laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And then Squiggly started laughing. And then Wiggly caught up to him and go, what? And they were laughing and laughing and laughing for so long before they could tell Wiggly what actually happened. And from that day forward, Squiggly, Wiggly, Jonathan Thomas Henry were best friends. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. It's one of my favorite stories to tell. Have a good day. Take care of each other and take care of yourself.